Hey folks, Real Honesty with Jarmuthlin. I'm Jarmuthlin, and this is the first part of a very short series, probably a two-part series about the women's matches at WrestleMania, ranked from worst to best. For those that have been following my channel for a while, a couple years ago, I think 2016, around this time, I talked about some of the worst matches that happened at WrestleMania. Some women's matches have happened since then, a couple good ones, a couple not so good ones, and I'll be discussing those on here too, but mainly the reason this is a redux slash sort of like new show is, yes, I'm going to talk about some matches I talked about in the previous video. And I may delete that video down the line, depending on how well these two do. But mainly I'm doing this because there's been an increase in good women's wrestling in WWE, and Impact did it first. Let us never forget that, despite the fact Impact did not pay their women very well. And WWE is doing their thing. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. The women have been given more of a green light, more of a spotlight to do things that they weren't really allowed to do, or, have better matches, not be so condensed into like a 5-6 minute match when they should have been given more time, because WrestleManias have increased in time more and more and more. So there are 23 official matches and a 24th that I'm just going to mention right now. But if for any reason I repeat anything that I said in my previous video, my apologies. I didn't watch the previous video. I just remembered that I talked about some of the worst matches. So here we go. I will see where 15 to 20 minutes brings me, and then do a second part, because there's no way I'm going to be able to cover all this with the amount of ranting that I can do. So honorable mention goes to Stacey and Tori Wilson versus the Miller Lite Catfight Girls pillow fight segment thing, where they were stripping each other, yet kind of fighting, kind of not, and Coach got pantsed during it because he was the MC. This wasn't a match, and it was pretty ridiculous. Miller Lite Catfight Girls shouldn't have been on pay-per-view. They shouldn't have been. Shouldn't have been. It was a niche act, and it was something where at least WWE got something, I guess, while it was hot, because they had just been part of the Super Bowl commercial craze, where they were two attractive women, I guess. I mean, the brunette was okay. Where they were fighting, after disagreeing, they started fighting, and it was supposed to be sexy and everything. It just was unnecessary more than anything. I can't say, it was the worst part, clearly, of that WrestleMania. Second worst part, actually, because Booker T should have goddamn beaten Triple H in that Mania match. Let us never forget the fact that he should have done that, and no matter what anyone else says, sorry, if you think Triple H should have won, well, that's your opinion. I don't agree with it, but whatever, it's your opinion. But it was not a match, so that's why it's ranked so low. If it had been a match, if it had been taking place in the ring, oh yeah, this probably would have been about number 2 or number 3 as far as the worst, ever. But it gets an honorable mention for being unnecessary and really a drag down point for Mania. Okay, they're attractive women. I mean, depends on your preferences. It just was unnecessary. I mean, whatever. I mean, Stacey and Tori were never wrestlers. They never claimed to be. So they were just put on here, and the Catfight Girls did what they did. Their stars faded pretty goddamn quickly after this, though, which makes sense. I mean, it was a niche act, and it wasn't really going to last much longer. I think it lasted like maybe a year. I don't even know if it lasted that long. But yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. And now for the worst women's match of all time. You know what it is. You know what it is. It is Sable versus Tori at Mania 15. One, Nicole Bass made an appearance. I know she passed away. Sorry. Nicole Bass was a shit worker and wasn't any good. And Amazon, I guess, would be the right term. Huge, was an imposing figure, don't get me wrong. Whether supplements led to that physique being that way, or whether it was totally natural, who knows? An oddity for sure. Definitely was bigger than a ton of the other women. I don't want to say it was a prelude to China, because China could at least sort of work. Nicole Bass couldn't. Nicole Bass was not any good at all. But Tori, who played Kane's girlfriend and X-Pac's girlfriend, for those who remember, and was a masked ninja that was helping Raven out for a couple weeks, and then Raven suddenly got released and then went to Impact Wrestling and feuded with Jeff Jarrett. Great feud there. And then Sable. This was Sable's last match in WWE for about 4.25 years. She returned randomly in 2003 and then feuded with Stephanie, and that was shit. And, of course, Sable was shit. This was just garbage. This was a garbage match. I mean, Mania 15, one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, even with that Austin Rock main event. And a couple other matches were okay. Kane versus Triple H was okay. And I guess Mankind and Big Show was okay. But it was just a very messy WrestleMania. Messomania. And that's an excellent pun also. Sable versus Tori. It was just garbage. One, Sable never wanted to take any damn bumps. Tori was supposed to be this crazed fan that liked Sable, but then wanted to beat her up because Sable didn't, honor her affection or something or whatever. I don't remember a ton of this storyline since I blocked a lot of it out. But Tori also has some of the worst ring gear of all time because bodysuits are not bad, but it was bodysuits with weird, I think it was supposed to be like tiger stripes or something. But it was a weird gray thing where she didn't have, she was in good shape, but it was just weird. It made her body look weird and saggy and not good. It was not physically appealing for being a bodysuit, and that's kind of the whole point of a bodysuit. Whether it's on a man or a woman, you're supposed to accentuate the positives of that person's particular physique. This did not do that. And then you get to the work where Tori botched the Sable bomb finish. Of course, Sable botched all the goddamn time because Sable's Sable's the goddamn stupid cunt when it comes to wrestling. She just is. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say that word fairly often when I'm talking about the worst matches. Sable and Brock seem happy together. Great. Fucking fantastic. Don't care. Sable had no goddamn business in the wrestling business. None. Oh, she got great ratings. Guys liked how she looked. Well, it's not my damn fault that guys like women that look like fucking Barbie dolls. And sorry, if you guys liked how... If any of you watching, any of you ladies liked how Sable looked, cool. I'm not knocking you guys. That is fucking great if you found her attractive. I didn't. I would have rather stabbed myself in the eye with a goddamn ice pick, IR2 style. Except that guy got stabbed in the eye with an ice pick. He didn't stab himself. That would be stupid. Why would somebody do that? But this Sable-Tori match, it was a hot mess in every goddamn sense of the word. Any match that Sable was involved in was a fucking hot mess. Even the stuff with Luna. She was actually supposed to work with Luna, but Luna got suspended because she tried to go after Sable. Rightfully fucking so. Because Sable was garbage. Sable was a fucking garbage heap. Stupid-ass woman that never respected the wrestling business, earned way too much damn money. I would have rather given that damn money that she earned, especially from her Playboy contract. I think that money should have been given to charity. Sable never earned any of that shit. Now, does that mean that Sable deserved to be harassed? Sexually harassed, allegedly, by the male counterparts and that kind of stuff? No. No, it does not. Sable did not deserve to be harassed like that. But that does not take away from the fact that this match was absolute dog shit and the worst women's match of all time at WrestleMania. Because especially considering it was for the championship. If it was not for the championship, if the championship just wasn't around at all, okay. Then Sable versus Tori probably actually still would have been it, but it would have been less offensive. This was for the women's championship that had just been fucking established after Jacqueline, or as the Derb would say, Jaqueline. Thanks, Chris. I can never unhear that now. It's funny. It's cool. It's just I can never unhear that now. It's just awesome. I probably should have said that with more of a joking mannerism. But Sable versus Tori, hot fucking garbage. Good fucking Christ. Enough talking about this goddamn match. Let's talk about something other than Sable. Fuck! Sable's in the next goddamn match. Sable and Tori versus Stacey and Jackie Gata. The Playboy evening gown match at Mania 20. Jackie Gata should have never been in the wrestling ring. Jackie Gata never struck me necessarily as a bad person. Her and Charlie Haas seem happy together. At least I think they're still together. Hopefully. If not, whatever. No big deal. Jackie never struck me necessarily as somebody that should have been in the ring. But she at least tried as far as like being an outside the ring character. Stacey, of course, as I said before, she was a good athlete. Gymnast, cheerleader, could do a really good cartwheel, do a really good spin kick. But then you have Sable in there, and Sable and Tori had this weird cougar, young woman relationship thing, and why was this happening? It wasn't appealing. Sorry, it just wasn't. If you guys found it appealing, fantastic. This was one of the hot mess matches of WrestleMania 20, and there were a few. WrestleMania 20 was one of those overly long WrestleManias that was enjoyable, but watched as a whole, you have to watch it in two parts. It's hard to watch it all at once. But this was bad. This was really, really bad. I mean, I don't think anybody expected it to be good. It was an evening gown match with, I think Stacey might have actually been the best worker out of anybody in the ring. I mean, Tori was never really much of a wrestler either, though she did well in the Women's Royal Rumble, which was a bit surprising. And the fact that Tori is apparently an immortal that does not age, the fact she is 42 and still looks like she did during her WCW phase, good job there. And nothing against Stacey. It's just, I was never the biggest Stacey Keibler fan, though I understand why she was appealing to a lot of people, and she seemed genuinely nice to a lot of people backstage, and at least respected wrestling, knew she wasn't a wrestler, and actually turned down rumors are she turned down the chance to have a run with the women's title because other women were more deserving. Good job on Stacey. This match was just bad. It was fucking explosively bad. It was over quickly, but I think it was almost a rib on Jackie, because I think even Jackie just ended up not wanting to get involved and ended up getting stripped, and that kind of, it was bad. It was a really bad match. Another match that Sable was involved in. Thankfully, we are done with the Sable portion of this show, which is good because Sable makes me want to rip what little bit is left of my hair out just thinking about her in the ring. Again, her and Brock seem happy together. Great. Maybe she's matured and hopefully had less plastic surgery done. Of course, she's probably sagging more than fucking droopy. But anyway, number 21, the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal Mania 25. One, Sunny was in this. Sunny's a cunt. Dumb cunt. Who thinks Candice LeRae is too ugly to be on the main roster? When Sunny, of course, looks like a pile of Arby's roast beef, left out in the sun for about 7 days. Fucking idiot. Goddamn crack whore. Anyway, they had Santino as Santino win this. That's why this is on here. I love Battle Royals. And I love the fact that there were plenty of talented women in here, and there were women that were brought back from the past and stuff like that. They had Santino in drag win this. And people wonder why WWE was seen as treating the women bad for a number of years. That's what really fucking bothered me. You had all these women. You had Victoria, Mickey. You still had plenty of women that were talented. You had some women that came back. Candice, I don't think was able to be in this because she got injured, so she was at ringside with Mae Young as a timekeeper. That was unfortunate that Candice got injured. As I'm not a huge Candice Michelle fan as far as in ring, but she certainly improved. She certainly improved in the ring, man. I'll give her that much credit. She put in the work. It's just unfortunate her collarbone kept getting broken. She seems happy with her outside of wrestling, though, and that's great. But this is bad. It's a really, really bad thing. I mean, it's like, one, it had a Kid Rock performance, and Kid Rock is a piece of shit. He'd be a piece of shit whether he supported Trump or not, but he's a piece of shit and a fraud because he's actually a rich kid who, as Jim Cornette described once, so he looks like that on purpose. It's pretty damn good, Jim. This was just fucking rotten. This was really goddamn rotten. And Santino winning in drag, that's what bothered me. That's really what bothered me, because that was a slap in the face to all the women that were hardworking that were there. That was just a fucking slap in the face. It was atrocious. And I'm not knocking Santino. He was cast in a role. That's not his fault. But it's on creative. Whoever, and I'm betting Kevin Dunn came up with it. I'm just going to blame Kevin Dunn anyway and hope that maybe he can use all those millions to fix his teeth, or go get off this, get out of that fucking company and go somewhere else, because he's not wanted in that goddamn company except by Vince. I don't think anybody else likes him. Which, why would anybody? He's a disrespectful, Bucky Beaver-tooth, worthless motherfucker. That's what he is. But this WrestleMania Battle Royal, this is going to go on a lot longer than I planned. But this was not a good match at all. Now, this is where I might actually start to go through some of these matches a little rapid fire, and not to plug my rapid fire shows, but check those out. Number 20, Terry versus the Cat with Val Venis, special referee. Terry wasn't a wrestler. Stacey Carter, the Cat, was never a wrestler. Terry, I'm not even slighting Terry here, because Terry was doing the best she could. But this was already when they were running out of shit for Val Venis to do. Because the character was one note, not the performer. I mean, Sean Morley was a good athlete, and I'm sure still is. But this was bad. It was just bad. This was also the only singles match that took place at the show at Mania 2000, Mania 16. This match. Everything else is either tag matches or multi-man matches. This fucking match. And it was bad. It was bad, but at the same time, we're getting into a little less inoffensive territory. And then we go to Velvet McIntyre versus Fabulous Moolah at Mania 2. This was the infamous one where Moolah beat McIntyre within, I think, 85 seconds. And it was a screw job thing, and I believe McIntyre, they wanted her to sign a contract before she went out for the match. She didn't. She went to have her lawyers overlook it. And then they screwed her over out of the title, and she wasn't part of the company for a number of years. I think it took years for her to make up with the company. This also just wasn't good because it was 85 seconds, and Moolah was well past her prime at this point. Well past her prime. Not very good. Not very good at all. Really bad way to use Velvet McIntyre. Moolah, of course, Moolah holding down another woman, as is tradition. And then we go to number 18, Trish versus Christy Hemme at Mania 21. Christy tried, but she shouldn't have been put in this match. Sweet fucking bleeding whatever. This was bad. This was bad. I mean, it was supposed to be Trish versus Lita. Lita blew out her knee at, I believe, New Year's Revolution 05. And then the whole thing with Matt happened. Matt and Edge and all that stuff, where Lita was with Matt, but then was seeing Edge or not seeing Edge or whatever. The bottom line is Lita went from being a great babyface just a few months before to being the most hated woman on the roster. You screwed Matt. You screwed Matt. This just wasn't any good. It just... And Christy tried. She really tried. I give her full fucking credit for trying. She got thrown into this fucking thing, being unable to really being unable to really work. And Trish had to fucking carry her. And Trish really couldn't carry her as good as Trish is. And, you know, good as Trish was at the time, good as Trish still is, as evidenced by her performance in the Rumble. This wasn't good. It was really, really bad. Christy got, unfortunately, unnecessarily booed a ton more because Lita was there at ringside. But yeah, this was bad. This was really fucking terrible. And now we're going to get into some multi-person matches in a bit. But we're going to go to Melina and Ashley. I'm trying to be nicer when it comes to Ashley Mazzaro, since I don't think she's a bad person. She never should have wrestled. She couldn't wrestle because of either her gear. I know that she got sent out way too soon after she had, I believe, plates put in her leg, because of a shattered ankle or shattered lower leg. I think it was shattered lower leg. But Ashley just should have never been in the ring. Just never should have. She wasn't any good. She won a Diva search. If she had been used as a manager, it would have been fine. But Ashley just couldn't fucking work. And I'm sorry, Melina, people can say what they want about fucking Melina. Batista already did that. No, just kidding. Anyway, it was not good. It was not good. Not good at all. It was a Lumberjill match at Mania 23, and people could argue that Ashley should have won, but, like, why? And Melina retaining, okay, whatever. This was during a downtime for the women's title. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good at all. And this will not be the last time that Ashley Mazzaro makes an appearance on this countdown. She just wasn't good. She was rotten to watch. She wasn't a rotten person. She was rotten to watch in the ring. It was just really terrible. And it was a terrible use of the women. You might as well just had a freaking schmoz in like a battle royal and have Melina win there. Because at least it would have given these women something to do. Because I'm sorry, this Ashley Mazzaro Melina feud was nothing. So then we go to number 16. And this was from, I believe, it was Mania 32. But you had, well, let's see. Team Total Divas, and I didn't even write down all this shit. But it was Team Total Divas, Alicia, Brie, Natty, Eva Marie, and Paige versus Team Bad. It was Emma, Lana. I want to say Tamina was involved in there, and a couple other women. That's how unmemorable this match was at Mania 32. It was Eva Marie's Mania debut. Fucking terrible, terrible wrestler she was. She defended the business, I'll give her that much credit, but she was a terrible wrestler. Lana, this was her debut also, her debut match, and this was not good. This is just not good. It was a multi-person match. Oh no, let's see, Tamina, Naomi was there, and Sasha was not part of it, because Sasha was actually on the main show. Poor Naomi. It took Naomi a while to finally get, like, her just due. But it was just not good. It was just not a good match. It was very throwaway. Eva couldn't wrestle. I know Nikki came down and celebrated with Brie afterwards because Nikki had her neck injury, which thankfully she seems to have recovered from. Probably shouldn't be in the ring anymore considering how damaged her neck is, but whatever. Not my life, not my career. I just don't want to see anybody paralyzed. This was just a bad multi-women tag match because it was a mixture of women that could actually work and some women that couldn't work, like Eva. And Lana tried, but it was what it was. It was a decent first impression for Lana, but she clearly needed more training. So yeah, we get to that, and then we get to number 6. I'm going to actually go 25 minutes, so I'll be done pretty soon. Naomi versus Alexa versus Carmella versus Becky versus Mickey versus Natty. 6-pack challenge at Mania 33. This was right before the main event, and it was literally given, 6 minutes of in-ring action, plus the entrances. So that was actually about 10 minutes, maybe. With that long of an entrance, I mean, shit, everybody's entrance, even if it was like 45 seconds, they're still only halfway of the goddamn ring. And Naomi ended up winning. I mean, she ended up beating Alexa. This was unfortunately because Naomi had injured herself at Elimination Chamber. Well, not injured herself, but she'd gotten injured. And had to give up the title, which I thought was stupid. I thought that if she had injured herself, or had gotten injured, they should have called an audible. She should have not won it, and then had this redemption story where she came back and won the title. Is what is, whatever. Naomi got her run. They didn't use her very well. She only defended the title against Lana at Money in the Bank. That was her only title defense, besides losing it to Natty at SummerSlam. It's pretty sad. Otherwise, they had multi-women matches, and that was ridiculous. Well, it was her only, singles title defense. I think there was one other 4-way or 5-way that the women had and stuff like that, but it was just a mess of a match. Not very good. And then we go to Asuka. Wait, no, not Asuka. Sorry, Oksana, AJ, Alicia, Brie, Cameron, Emma, Eva Marie, Layla, Naomi, Natty. I think Nikki was actually in there, and I wrote Brie twice. Rosa Mendez, yes, Rosa Mendez was in a match. Summer Rae and Tamina, and it was a Vicky Guerrero invitational match where it was her against AJ, and she wanted AJ to lose the title, and it was a clusterfuck. And oh yeah, this match happened right after the streak got broken. Hey ladies, we just did probably something that we shouldn't have done. Well, I mean, actually, you can make the argument that it worked, even though Bray should have been the one to break the streak. Oh no, let's do that, and hey ladies, the crowd's dead, the crowd's upset, go out and have your match. Good job. AJ won, of course. Vicky was pissed. It was a clusterfuck of a match, and he had a decent spot, but Cameron shouldn't have been wrestling at all. Rosa shouldn't have been wrestling. Summer Rae is a good worker, but got used horribly. Yeah, it was not a good match at all. Not a good match at all. And then we go to another multi-women match that took place in Mania 26. This is kind of where we start to get to matches where they weren't terrible, and then I'm going to actually end the show right here. But Alicia, Layla, Maurice, Michelle McCool, and Vicky Guerrero versus Beth, Eve, Gail, Kelly, and Mickie James at Mania 26. Vicky got to pay tribute to her late husband, hitting a splash off the top. It's about the most memorable thing in this match. This was not a very good use of the women because it was throwaway. It wasn't even given 10 minutes. I think it was 6. So every woman, oh, rush through your spots, okay, tag. Rush through your spot, tag. It was bad. It just wasn't, it was a bad use of the women. The match was middle ground. It wasn't great, but it was a bad use of the women. But that's where I'm going to leave that off. So I got 12 matches left. So yeah, I rushed through a couple of them, but I thought I had some pretty good rants there. What do you think of my rants? What do you think of the series so far? Are there any that you disagree with how I ranked them? What are you looking forward to hearing about in the second part? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. Spend real honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.